It's recording. Um, yeah, I'm lower energy today, but I feel like I'm gonna perk up with our.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
hard to even just thinking about it, I'm just like, all right, here we go. It's on.
um. Also, I don't know, because in my head this is not again. It's not actually a podcast. This is just a weekly call we have, but it can turn into. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's actually an interesting thing about unlabeling and then seeing what evolves and then finding something and labeling it and then there's like a natural unfolding or
yeah,
natural evolution kind of thing.
totally.
But but I like the idea of the first item on the agenda is write down an agenda and then like maybe 10 minutes or something and then go through in whatever order seems like the most important.
That sounds
Um,
great.
do you want? Yeah, I think I want a whiteboard like last time. Do I just should I screen share?
Yeah, let's go for that. Excuse me. TL draw lets us both draw at the same
Yes,
time.
and actually I think I can send you. See, yeah, I'm just gonna share my whole screen.
Amazing.
TL draw
I think there's a
and
chat in here too, so you can drop that in if you want.
let's just do Monday Monday meeting. I don't know, I'm just gonna call it Monday. And okay, and I can share and then chat
Beautiful.
should be in there.
Amazing.
So I feel like there's a lot of things that the Kimo that just threw in our DMs in various places.
So you sent me a couple of screen caps. I think was that from the ORI Discord?
Yes,
So you guys were discussing that video?
a little bit, and it's funny because I only watched like I think 30 seconds of it, because at first I was like, why is everyone sending me this video? And then I was like, okay, I see why. And like I only got 10 minutes in.
It's essential. No, I was just really impressed with the clarity. You know, it's just easy to follow, super clear. Like there's a species of video creator right now that is really concise and really evocative and has incredibly high production values in a very narrow band. It's like visual content. So there's that one. There's another guy that does like audio stuff. He talks about like how to mix and make music. And I'm not super deep in that, but it always tickles me to just kind of watch him talking about beats and vibes and polyrhythms and stuff.
Wait, who is it? Do you have a link off the top of your head or?
Now I'm scrolling through trying to find it right now. I've liked probably a billion of his videos, but he does a lot of shorts. Yeah, I'll keep looking for it as we go. But the interesting thing is it's like high production quality and tight short form content. I think even Three Blue One Brown commented on that video that I sent you,
That's
the
cool.
graph guy, because he was one of the OGs in terms of like highly
Right,
useful and animated video content.
right.
Mhm. Yeah. New York City. Yeah, love is interesting.
I mean,
There's
it seems
something that's
big.
on my
Yeah,
mind
yeah, yeah.
that's kind of adjacent to that. I'm not sure like even how to articulate it or if we'll really get into it, but I have been kind of going through a sort of mind expanding process. So like the last couple of weeks, just kind of entering different states of mind and really engaging with content and really open-minded ways. And then last night I talked to Claude, and he was kind of mean in a helpful way, and there was sort of a, I want to say, like a collapse of just like, oh shit, like I've been looking at things in the wrong way. So like I'm trying to navigate my way through like what do I want to be working on and what's good to spend my time on. And so it's like a personal growth process. So love like kind of is an interesting jumping off point for that, but it's like how do I navigate the sort of mental area of, you know, oh, I want to work on this, or this is interesting, or this is meaningful, to like what am I actually doing? And I feel like that's something that you have your own interesting insights into. So maybe we can like finish up with that.
Finish up. Yeah, I mean, this is sort of this is something I've been thinking about for a long time, and I think like this phrasing is only crystallized the last few days or last week.
Hmm.
I'm excited about that because I think it's gonna be fruitful. And
Yeah. I
yeah,
just
what you're
realized I can like be going through Twitter right now and like
I,
capturing tweets that have stuck out.
that's actually, and it's part of what I like. I on my phone, I'm just going through our DMs, but
Yeah.
also like I think this is actually the right format. Like look at put it here. Like if you look at last week's like your own tweets or blogs or
Yeah.
whatever has stuck out.
I I'm starting to think like next time that could be a really nice like pre-work thing. Like it's nice to do it together and like run through the agenda, but it's like there's a lot of stuff that I would capture and want to talk about that maybe I wouldn't necessarily land on organically.
Well, so this is what, and this is I think what in my head what the purpose is of color the ORI log channels. And I don't know how
Hmm.
often you check in there, but the idea is I want everyone. It's almost like okay, like, think of it this way. Like imagine if we had, and this could be like we could use the Signal chat for this or DMs or whatever. But the idea is like there's a place for you to throw for us both to throw things in
Yeah.
for the upcoming chat.
Right.
And by creating a space for it, it acts as a you know how
Mm.
like if you when you sit down and start writing something, nothing comes to you, but then if you like sleep on and wake up,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of stuff floods in. So it's the same thing. It's like creating a space for.
I have, we talked about this last time. Like, I have trouble with append only logs because I just generate so much content that it, like, I need the ability to delete and revise.
Well, so okay,
And
this is
I don't
funny
have that trained up that well either.
because if you take see, this is why this is great because we have the same problems.
Yeah.
So the way I
Something tells
solve.
me we should invite somebody else who doesn't have this problem to help us with this problem, but continue.
Well, I think I've well, they need to have. You don't want someone
Yeah.
who's never had the problem before, because then they're
Right,
just like,
right.
oh, I don't know, you just exist, bro. You can get, okay, good. Um,
Yes.
you want someone who's had the problem, no longer has the problem,
Right,
um, and to chart the path. So for
right.
me, I see the lot like okay. Let me put it this way. Get out of the notebook. Okay, so what the top one represents. Put this in green. Like the stream.
Right.
And that's the append only one, and then this one is the evergreen. Um, like when actually this is right. So I almost see like my Twitter is this like stream. It's like whatever single stream um thinking like whatever when I wake up whatever ideas come to me I just put them in here, and then the Substack is more the evergreen thing where I'll like out of that stream I'll either see a gold nugget or I'll see the same thing coming in the stream every few months
Yeah,
or whatever, and then I'll grab that
it makes sense.
and then the nice thing is
I
like I
think
think that they work with together because like when you have something evergreen, the stream still keeps going, but sometimes something in the stream you can see that I already have an article for it. I can add this to the article. Like I'll go back and add a comment to an old Substack article, or I'll just
right.
edit it and add more. Or I'll just do a part two.
Makes sense. I have like multiple like psychological issues with that. One is like the idea of like publishing stuff on GitHub feels more like, I'm putting this out there. This should be interesting or useful. I'm looking for engagement. And two, I still tend to, even with all of that, like accumulate too much noise, and the desire to like consolidate and condense is still there. Like even with the GitHub thing, it's like, oh, here's another thread, and I'm just like, I think I'm knitting a sweater, but I'm really just weaving a tangled ball of yarn.
Um,
So it's something
yeah,
I'm willing to play with. I'm willing to try, but I can just feel my brain just like this is gonna suck.
I actually think the only because I have several like I can sort of show you like on GitHub. Like this is only the most recent incarnation of
Sure.
the notebook, and it's like, oh, here's the various things that are actively, but it's
Right.
already sort of gone out of. There's already things here open a while ago that I'm not going to get back to, and
Right.
I almost think like, yeah, I think I see what you're saying because like it's like every
This
evergreen
this is
thing
the
actually becomes a stream. Yeah.
this is the classic problem. It's like each one of those entries that you have there is interesting. It's a whole little world unto itself. And it's like something about having them just be issues feels, to me, just feels reductionist because it's like this is a space that you want to kind of explore and come back to. And I think for me, this is all my perception, but it's like every piece of software has this problem that like this is a project. This is the world of this frame. I'm just thinking of like Claude has projects, ChatGPT has projects. And the idea is like you want to collect things and organize them within that space. And it's there seems to be a fundamental tension between flexibility of the tool, right? Like TL draw, you can drop anything anywhere,
Yeah.
versus GitHub issues. It's like it's a linear log that you can edit and revise the core issue itself. And I'm just like, it's not clear to me what the actual limitation is that I'm struggling with in that.
I mean, I think it comes down to like the source is you and your workflow. But what,
Yeah.
well, like, what, like, I'm a little lost on like where are you getting stuck, I guess. Or, like, where do you feel you feel
I
you
think this is a deeply personal problem because it's like I have a lot of inspiration at the beginning when I come up with an idea. And then the putting the idea into a space that I can come back to and feel like I can work on it is really hard for me. And I think part of that is because when I'm coming back to something, I'm not motivated by the initial sort of excitement of having the new idea. And part of it is because I think there's just a deep seated psychological issue of like, I don't have my own space to work on stuff.
mm,
I think that's the psychological
hmm.
conditioning that sort of makes it feel like, oh, any space that I try to set up doesn't feel like mine. It doesn't feel like it has enough affordances to let me spread out and do what I need to do. Like even the feeling, like I'm thinking about it right now,
Yeah,
the feeling of like anywhere I put information on my computer, it just feels too constrained.
that's
It's
funny.
stuck in the screen. I'm like
Can I
typing through these keys.
I want to
It's like I
make
need physical space. I need to have like a wall of pin boards and
yeah,
conspiracy theory yarn.
I see
Or
it.
back
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
yarn metaphor. Yeah.
Well, I wonder if I mean, this is how I'm interpreting what you're saying. 'Cause it's almost like, okay, you
Yeah.
make a box for the work, whether
Yeah.
it's GitHub stuff, like whatever it is, and then you sort of have to put everything in here, and then but you can't. You are like, why am I not able to like use all of this space?
Yeah,
Like,
basically, but it's inside that box. Like there's, I'm trying to figure out how do I draw a box. There's like, here's a feed, right? And it's like this, if we're talking GitHub, it's like that's your mechanism, right? I'm gonna figure out how to do this. And then you have like cross linkages or whatever.
hmm
I'm still learning the ins and outs of TL draw, right? So it's like that's even more constraining than just being able to dump everything in a
hmm
box, right? And then like I go over, I take a step over to the side and it's like, okay, now I have TL draw over here, and now I don't have that, but now I have the arrangement problem, which is
hmm
like, oh,
Yep.
these two things are stale now, right? And then this is fresh, and then here's something that doesn't really apply, and then here's another TL draw next to it that like has its own topic that there's actually like cross linkages there.
So this is maybe a good segue into one of the things I talked to the homebrew New York City people, and for
Yeah.
just as a quick like, what is homebrew there? From in our language, this is a place in New York City. Um, I
Yeah.
After talking to them, I think of it almost as like an in-person version of ORI or what I'm trying to do with the ORI, like
Right.
like people who are just independently researching stuff can just show up, live there, give talks, hang out. Okay. One of the things
Cool.
the person I was talking to with Noah is model, this person. Um, I'm trying to remember what he called it, but in my language, I call it more same data, multiple views, which is,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
it's really clear to me, like hearing you talk about the homebrew. Like I tried to get something going like that here in my city with the meetup that I was doing out here in Seattle. And what I just described about my issue and what I ran into with the meetup, it seems to be a meat space software issue with
Mm,
like there seems to be sort of a resident in memory program that's running that's like sort of sabotaging the sort of possibility of interfacing with other people in that way. So for me, it's like there's some kind of kink in the system that says like I can't get organized or I have to be organized in a certain way. For the people that I was trying to work with, I was like, hey, let's try to help you because they're looking for jobs or they're trying to learn how to program, and it's like that is fitting into just a small slice of their life where they can show up once a week and for like an hour or two, you know, synchronize, and they don't necessarily want to get as engaged with that community and like, oh, let me actually reconsider my approach. So it seems to be a control thing ultimately. It's like, in what ways do we feel in control? In what ways do we feel like we have a surface that we can engage with, right? For me, it's like, oh, I need to know where my data is at. I need to know how to link ideas together. And for these people that I was trying to work with, it's like maybe they don't feel comfortable letting somebody else structure or help structure their learning journey, or at least in the way I was presenting it.
yeah, I mean, this is making me think about like the two ways of coming together, like shared goals versus shared processes, because
Mm,
you um, you might have shared goals, but if you go about them in very different ways, there's friction. You might have
right.
shared processes. It might be actually be easier to orient around this in a way for like something
Sure.
like I actually think RI. Well, because that's what's going there. Like it's like everyone's. It's like imagine trajectories, and like everyone's actually going, in very different directions,
This is
but there's sort of like some core scaffolding or something in the center that
kind of a
even though
nexus.
yeah It's like everyone. It's like so actually everyone's still here, and they all want to go again to like very different places, but that's fine
Right.
because we're all stuck. So that's part of what like I'm pretty excited about. Like a lot of people are like, how can you make compatible all these things that are not compatible? And I'm like, I'm not actually. I think you talked about this a little bit. It's not about
Right.
like when I'm talking about alignment. I'm not trying to like again take all of these and like again force them all into one path. Even if I
Right.
think some of these paths aren't going to work out, that's not. I'm not deciding that. But I can just. It's just so obvious to me that like the best possible future. One way you think about that is like maximum affordances. Like
Mm,
there's some futures where like half of these won't be possible.
right.
Okay, or maybe even most of them will be possible. But either way, you everyone still has to like sort of go through this purple. Uh,
Totally. I think what you were saying kind of made it click for me. I'm trying to achieve that naive view of alignment with my tools and processes and information of like, oh, it needs to have present moment coherence. You know, it's like if you look at like a waveform over time, it's like it's changing and whatever, and it's like there's a sense of balance over time versus like, oh, the current snapshot is balanced. You know, does that make sense? It's
can
kind of
you
vague.
can you draw a little bit? What you're
So maybe the analogy I'll use is like I have a room, right? And the room is messy. It looks messy. There's things out and about. And yet moving through the room, I can locate things I need. I can very efficiently get done what I need to get done. But it looks messy. So it seems like it's disorganized, but it's organized for use. It's not organized for the appearance of
wait.
cleanliness
I
or
like this.
organization.
I think one way I would say it is like yeah, imagine a chaotic system. I'm thinking planets in orbit or something where there's like gravity, but like everything is
Right.
strewn about, and it seems like again, it seems random, but you can tell it's not random because when you try to move something, there's friction, there's resistance because
Yeah.
it's there because it holds up. It's like a big tower of Jenga or something.
Right. So it's just like I'm trying to get everything organized in a really nice hierarchical relational way. And the truth is like no, like things are clustered based on need and use and that's fine. Right? But something in my brain says no, I can't see the whole map. I can't see the whole graph. Does that make sense? It's like I can't make sense of the larger picture. There seems to be things that are sprawling out in weird ways that I don't know.
Yeah, I
And
wrote
there's
down
this deep desire to like clear those discrepancies up.
I wrote down aura onboarding, put a star next to it because this reminds me of something very important, which I would describe as the eternal relationship between
Mm.
rational and intuition. Um,
It's funny that those words have like such clear connotations. Like, oh yeah, I get it. But like when it comes to organizing information, I'm still like, no, it has to be rational.
well, but again, but I think there's a, okay, I say the word eternal here is a pretty key
Yeah.
word in this
I'm
phrase.
just pointing to like there's always we have an understanding of something and there's always pockets of our mind or reality that understanding hasn't really touched. It's kind of funny to watch. It's like there's a cascade or mode collapse where you kind of come into a understanding of a thing, but like the insight doesn't necessarily flow to some places that are kind of far up there or trapped, right? It's like if you have a maze where water's
Right.
flowing.
Like, I mean, when you say that in my head, it's not obvious to me whether it's because you haven't yet integrated this concept, and it'll get there when it gets there,
Yeah.
or
Well, it gets
or
integrated in different ways.
and maybe this is not a categorically different. thing to you. But I think there's a second thing here where like there's a reason why it can't.
Something's holding it in place. I think.
Yeah, like there's some things, and I guess I don't know. This is where you get into like yin yang sort of things.
Right.
Like they dance forever in tension. It's almost like an endless competition or an endless war where one side can't actually win. So, but it's a weird thing
Yeah.
because it's like we want resolution, but I think there's a category of these things where like even though you know, even after you understand this whole dynamic and that one cannot win, you still have to play the game. You still have to dance. You still have to fight,
Oh, totally.
negotiate.
Totally. The funny thing is, it's just like there can be really deeply real aspects of your life, like relationships or hobbies, or just kind of how you are when you're alone, right? And it's like those places can be touched by this, right? Whereas other places are just like
Mm.
not reached, right? So information. I mean, this is like the best label that I can come up with.
I mean, I like this. This is a good.
So this would be like the info management room that I was like, oh, for some reason, the way I relate to info and like projects, right, needs to be totally ordered, like perfectly and totally ordered for all time, in every single sort of keyframe state. And it's totally not the case, right? It's just like abiding or kind of meditating or whatever. And like relationships is kind of down there. Stuff like that.
Well, then I'm wondering, like, what is your relationship to, like, let's say your bookmarks folder on Twitter?
I don't really use it.
Or
Um,
do you ever
I mean,
bookmark
I
anything?
create bookmarks. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, tons of stuff.
But what?
And
Yeah.
but I never really go back to them. I think the way that I sort of use and reuse Twitter is mostly self attention. So like I'll search things that I've engaged with and created. I'm not necessarily trying to make connections with things that other people have posted or like re-engage. There's some things I've saved for like later reading.
You. I'm basically asking questions to figure out like if you have specific information management processes or if the ideal of
There's two modes, right? And I think that's what we're looking at is like there's the sort of forager mode where I'm just engaging wantonly with everything that comes across my path. And then there's like, okay, now we've got to be organized and we've got to do stuff mode, in which this stuff comes online and it's like, oh my gosh, I need perfect organization. I need to, collect all the information and bring it to bear, in one place. Does that make sense? So it's just like I either don't care or I fully care. It's kind of bipolar.
bimodal. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a better word. But I mean, just seeing this is enough to like help me loosen up. So I appreciate the chance to draw my
Yeah,
little
I think it's
maze,
interesting.
my little
I mean,
water maze.
it is making me. I actually like the modern maze a lot. It's making me also think about and I still haven't quite found the workflow that will let me do this, but I know I'm almost sure it's going to be like a very common pattern in the future, hopefully soon.
I was thinking about this today, and it ties back into the weird thing that I wanted to talk about at the end. But it's just like coming back and revising is not something I've done a lot of in my life, and so it's just kind of that this big question mark sort of thing where it's like that's where the gold is. Like you collect a lot of data, but you have to reprocess, you have to consolidate and make the connections and trim and do all that. You have to defrag.
Yep.
And I I very rarely do that because I'm so worried about missing out.
I think someone has called it like I picked this up like your mountain,
Mm.
and it's basically whatever project or journey or something that you inch forward in every day. I mean, like, some people also think it was your garden where you like cultivate. Um,
I love that sort of discrepancy between those two clear metaphors.
in my head, there's something like they're the same in that.
Very Kiki and Boba energy, honestly. It's
Yeah.
like I need to achieve a thing versus I need to stay and cultivate a thing. But I think both are valuable to kind of lean into.
Yeah, and I actually think like I mean, if anything, the mountain is almost like the mountain is in some ways kind of like a garden with training wheels.
Interesting. Okay, so the garden is like the sort of real game, and the mountain is like the training,
Because if
like
you don't,
the
right, and
yeah.
I say this because in the mountain it's kind of obvious where you're supposed to go. It's like up there. Okay.
Right, right. Free range mode is harder.
Yeah, the garden, I think a good gardener, I think has in their mind an
Right.
image of what it's supposed to look like. And I think every day they inch towards that. It's just that
Mm.
that is a moving target and they can keep doing that eternally. Um,
Yeah, it's a beautiful game.
but but I think but either way you have a thing that over a long period of time, like the orientation is not quite like fixed in either case, but there is an
Mm.
orientation that you continually choose. And the important thing is like seeing yourself make progress, seeing things compound.
Yeah,
Um,
totally. It works. It's just sometimes it feels really nonlinear, but that's part of life too.
but I think this matters on. I think a lot of, I don't know. I've had this more in the past. I think a lot
Mm.
of, um, I think not a lot of people. I think a lot of people want or need this but don't have it. And yeah, I
Mountain
think
or the framework?
like basically a consistent thing,
Mm.
a consistent place to invest in and see
It's
fruits. Yeah.
yeah, it's really hard for me to do that because of the way that my brain works. It sort of slices tangentially or askew through so many things. So it's hard to say like this is
Well,
my thing
I
because it's
w-
sort of mixed media.
well, I was gonna say there's a way I think, and I got this from making video games, but like this is what I was trying to draw the
Yeah.
box earlier because I was like, okay,
Okay.
you you feel boxed in by having to put everything in one, any one garden you pick, it's gonna feel restrictive. But there's another way to
Right.
do this where you're like, okay, then there's no boxes. I'm just gonna do anything in the entire
Hmm.
universe. So you do all your things, and then
Right.
and then I think basically you realize I don't know like there's a way of like zooming in and out to see that
There's a box
what
that fits around that.
exactly yeah you just let you like, and then also here's the nice part, here's the
Yeah.
beautiful part, like you're here. And then you're like, well, I don't like the box. That's fine. You can draw
Right.
outside the box and then just do this. Just kind of
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah, that freedom is great. I think that brings me to like a weird version of the metaphor, which is I've been tending to the flowers on the mountain. When I don't even know why I'm trying to climb. So it's like there's a weird sort of like resistance to setting up a stable identity about any of the stuff that I've done. It's a lot of that's eased up, but there is this urge to like, look, I want to do what you did, draw these lines in all these places and not feel obligated to own them all, moving forward. I think I've made a lot of progress on that in the last year of like, oh, I can let things go but it's tricky. It's particularly tricky for me because it's like I feel an allegiance to everything I've ever thought. It's like
Wait, well, this is interesting.
it's
Wait,
not a
so
way to live.
you you would want to own or like champion or shepherd or the like
So
the yeah,
there's a dichotomy in inside me, which is I don't really want to own everything or anything. I want to move freely through things and
right,
engage with them as they are, but doing that limits the depth to which you can engage.
right, right,
And so there's this sort of forcing function that says, well, you do need to own some things. And then the second that I start owning things, I start feeling this overactive responsibility of like, oh my God, I need to own everything. I need to care about every last thing. And so there's this sort of internal fine tuning that's going on. It's just for some reason my system is particularly bimodal.
I
It's like I
think
can either care fully or I can care not at all, and anything in the middle is really hard to stick with.
I don't have the right visualization here, but I think the way the way I see that is you can reconcile this like wanting this freedom to go literally anywhere in this canvas with that like problem of depth by um, like you can almost see that the thing you own is the process that you apply to any part of this map
Mm.
as needed, and the mountain you're contributing to is this mountain of expertise. Like,
Yeah. Oh, I totally see that. And I think that answer is great in the sense that, like, oh, yeah, the box is internal. It's something that's living and
right,
nebulous and you
right,
carry
right,
within you.
right,
And
right.
that just brings us back to yes, and there's still a part of my brain that is developing to sort of differentiate inner and outer that like, oh, this box is
Right.
real, even
Right.
though it
I
feels
mean,
totally nebulous and
okay,
unreal. And the stuff that I'm engaging with and putting in GitHub and TL Draw is no more real than that internal experience. That I think that's just a process of growing up or differentiation.
I
I just
I
see
ha
cocaine and psychedelics and I'm like, all right, there we go. I'll take the psychedelics, but you
um
do you.
I never thought I could this is a um it's a specific this is the map of a specific tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the actual tweets aren't
Yeah.
relevant, but they are distracting. Um I don't even remember what the
I love the spread though. It's so cool.
well, yeah. So actually, here the cool part. Okay, the reason I bring this up is because I was trying to make a point with this thing. Um,
Right.
so we'll take on a little tangent, but the what I'm just gonna make a note here. What connects this is the idea that
Weed, nitrous, pot cannabis.
the idea of mapping, the idea of like okay, the I thought of this now while you're describing this because you basically said like every time you anytime a box, anytime you can recognize a box, okay, it's almost like a box is necessary in order to go deep.
Hmm.
And
Right.
but anytime you recognize a box, you sort of have this aversion of like, wait, what's outside the box? But that
Hmm.
destroy, that makes it hard to stay in the box. Okay. Um,
Sometimes, yeah. I think it's just like you just imagine a dude going out into the mountain and picking a bunch of flowers and then like, oh shit, I don't have enough faces. And it's like, but I feel like I need to pick all the flowers to figure out which flowers I like. So I'm like
hmm
creating this sort of self-perpetuating problem of like over engaging, over indexing, being overwhelmed, not having a box to put them all in, and then just kind of letting them sit and going
But
back and not picking flowers and thinking about the whole process ad infinitum.
but this reminds me of this because what I was doing here is I was like, okay, here's the spiel.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's literally one story that connects inside of which all of
Right.
humans' perspectives fit, and like
Right.
nobody like I think nobody really agrees with this. I think a lot of the like here like if it is like looks all over the
I
place. Like, how can
definitely agree.
so
Consistent. Yeah.
well
Perfect.
but the part of what I'm trying to do is even it's not even that I think controversial because
Yeah.
to me it's almost like true by definition like it has to be
Yeah.
um, because all I'm really saying is that like all human perspectives fit on a map, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's like okay, the map looks like this, and then someone says an insane thing
Mm.
over there, and you're like, well, clearly this doesn't fit on the map because the map is only
Yeah.
like
It's like the map just got bigger, baby.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
how it works.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, clearly there's an island over there, and like it exists, and like you think
But
it's
the other
crazy,
thing that we're
yeah.
not seeing from this is that island is probably bigger than what we saw here, right? So it's like this map is actually drawn by the people in the middle, right? It's like
Uh-huh.
I'm assuming that Shellac's original tweet was like more towards the center of this.
Mm-hmm.
Did you actually place it on this?
Oh no, it doesn't. This is interesting. It does not place
Yeah,
the
because I
original.
the thought is like all maps have a center, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean if you captured everything that that would be the true center. In
Right.
fact, whether or not there's a true center is a separate question.
Right.
But just looking at what you have there, like the pot cannabis nitrous island might be huge and it might be
Mm-hmm.
really dark because people don't really talk about it outside of their closed circles.
Mm-hmm.
So even from looking at the map and saying like, "Oh yeah, there's this little thing over here." Like that can be really confusing. It can be really misleading.
Right. And so and I think this is kind of the fun part. And I think you have this instinct because here's what happens next. Like, someone's like looks at this. I mean, you repeat the same thing, and you're like, okay, we're done. We have the map. And then, but then you're like, wait,
We're done.
we finished.
Done.
Here you go. Print it out, put it in a museum, and then move on. But then,
Final draft two, three,
yeah.
four. For real this time.
But that's actually you're asking the right question. You're like, wait, what else? What else is here? If you go in here, you could recreate this map from this POV from this vantage point, and then you can look at
Totally.
what does this look like, um, and I don't know. I
Mm.
mean, the punchline is like every map you make shows people new things, and then that changes the reality
Right?
that they
Right.
exist in.
Even
Um,
looking at this, like I'm thinking like, wow, nitrous. Like I would never touch that, but seems like it's more mainstream than I thought.
and I guess it's not clear if this is like a one-off.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I'm not making huge inferences. I'm just
Yeah,
saying that
I
like
know.
even seeing that word pop up, it's like I
Yeah,
don't think about nitrous. I know
yeah, yeah,
Kanye
yeah.
does it. I know it's pretty bad, but like people are doing it. And just being exposed to this is telling me that.
Um,
Like L-theanine is great, and it's just like, well, that's a very alternative substance.
yeah,
It's much more mild. Like there's so many different perspectives here that like just looking at them shifts your frame.
yeah. And I was gonna say, I think the simple point is, there are people who are like map makers,
Mhm.
so it's so like it's kind of a weird relationship because I think a lot of people want maps because they want to go somewhere, and
Right.
then there are people whose whole thing where they want to go is making maps. That's what you're doing. So
Mm.
so people will then ask you like, where are you trying
Yeah.
to go? And it's a weird thing to answer because but you're moving a lot. You're actually moving.
Right.
You're moving back and forth. You're going all these places. You keep moving a lot, and so they're like, wait, can you just tell me where you want to go, and I'll take you there. And you're like, you're not happy anywhere you stop because you're happy as long
Yeah.
as you're making a new map, and then when you're done, you move on to the next thing.
Just you saying that just puts me in an interesting space in my mind. It like immediately clicked. It's like there's not somewhere I'm trying to go. I'm
Yep.
not necessarily trying to make maps, although I like going places and I like making maps. what I'm searching for is much more immediate. It's much more subtle. It's how can I engage with what's in front of me? We talked about this last time. It's like, how can I engage with what's in front of me in a way that feels true? It's like, I just want to, whether I'm picking flowers, whether I'm searching for a vase, there's not a need that like, oh, if I do this in the right way, then something good will happen. And if I do it in the wrong way, I fucked up and I got to go back and pick more flowers. It's how can I escape that framing that something needs to be done and spend more time in the framing of what I'm doing is what could be done. It's just
Mm.
a state or an expression of pure creativity that I'm looking for. So it could be a map, it could be this call, it could be anything. How can I get away from this sort of leading feeling that says I need to be somewhere else, even though I know for a fact there's no specific place that I could need to be. It's all this internal state.
I'm looking for a specific diagram. And I'm wondering if
Mm.
I relate to it. But it was basically like, oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. Tell me, I don't know if she'll need this before, but
Beautiful.
the initial thing is
I
like,
I
yeah.
drew a very
Wait,
similar
really?
chart actually. Yeah, yeah. I'll try to find it while you.
But it's like, I'm here, and then I think each one represented like, oh, I can write an essay, I can make a video game, I can
Yeah,
read a book. Okay. And what I'm searching for is like glory, love, beauty, whatever. And I feel like one of these
right.
paths is gonna get there.
It's
And it's
out there somewhere.
yeah, and so it's really hard to sort of commit to any one because I don't know, is it the right one? So I keep switching. Okay, but there's another way of looking at it, which is the following, where basically I've already pruned the tree so that almost all of the paths that I are ahead of me get
Right.
to one aspect of the glory, love, beauty.
Right.
So it's not the case that
I'm
like it doesn't matter which one you pick, but
I I would say like I saw something the other day. Oh yeah, I was chatting with ChatGPT and like trying to figure out. I think Anthropad was showing one of their kind of visions for like what comes after statics, dynamics, and games, which I find utterly fascinating. And so I dumped that into ChatGPT and was like chatting with it, and there was like, we're creating shadow puppets on the wall with our choices and behaviors. I think he was chatting with Emmett in one of Emmett's threads.
wait, what were they
Uh,
talking about?
they were talking about science, metaphysics, philosophy.
Okay.
I can try to pull it up and paste it in if you want. But it basically came down to, there are statics, dynamics, and games, and
I
something
think I
else,
found that.
comes next.
Beyond dynamics, beyond games.
Yes, that's it. And then there was like blurb, or what was what was the word? If you scroll down, there's a picture of like a creature.
Libber theory?
Yeah,
What the
Libber.
hell's
There it
Flieber
is.
theory?
I know, right? Right. Flieber theory is the
Wait,
next
this is
step.
exciting. Okay,
It's
tell me
it's
about
really
Flieber
fucking
theory.
cool.
Tell
I
me,
don't know. I don't know about Flieber theory, but I was discussing it with ChatGPT and just trying to get to, what what are we doing here? What are different metaphors we can use to understand what else could be going on or different ways of interpreting. And I posted a couple of these last night, just kind of threw them out there. They're interesting. I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about it, but the idea that what we're doing with moving around, creating Flieber theory, having a conversation, we're basically casting shadow puppets on the wall and trying to get it to look a certain way that expresses something that we hold internally. When you were talking about glory and beauty and aesthetics and honor, justice, whatever, those things, all of those things, love, beauty, glory, love, beauty, glory. All of those things are experiences that you have inside your body, right?
Mm.
When you feel love, when you see something beautiful, when you have a moment of gratitude or glory, how do you know
Mm.
that that's what's going on, right? You feel it somewhere in your
Yep.
body, in the space of your
Yep.
existence. And if that's true, we can hack that in certain ways with like meditation or whatever, which is cool or interesting. Or we can sort of understand that there is a meaningful relationship, and that's kind of what our bodies are for, is for constructing a meaningful feedback loop with reality to orient us in certain ways with reality
Oh
to
yeah.
create
Yep.
standing waves of love and beauty
Yep.
and
Yep.
glory.
Yep.
And if you get really esoteric, which I'm kind of inclined to do, it's each one of us has a blueprint, and whether that's constructed or imbued or supernatural, you have a blueprint for what is the highest glory, what is the highest love, what is the highest beauty, like all of these things, and the worst stuff. And that blueprint, like the process of living and moving through all these things and building and drawing and talking, is to try to resolve that in higher clarity and to work out how do I interact with the world
Wait.
in a way to bring this out.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. 'Cause this is great. This is.
And this is what I've been like worrying about as I'm picking flowers on the mountain. It's not about the flowers, it's not about the mountain. It's what is it in me that is trying to come out that I don't have the words or the orientation to kind of match.
Can I then say, okay, what? Oh, wait. This is your thing. Wait. Wait. Hold on. Hold on. This is
Yeah,
when.
it's
Wait.
just an
When did
aside.
when did you draw this?
So I did this in like mid 2024. I was just trying to figure out like how do I get to my ultimate goal, whatever the fuck that is.
Okay. Hold on. I
And
just
so
love. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
yeah, we've drawn some of the same day. I remember when we did like I did the community thing, and you were like, "Oh my god, it's a little uncanny." I love it.
Yeah. uh,
Yeah, yeah.
this is pretty great. Um. Okay.
I like yours. Mine was so obsessed with like my life is filled with shit that feels like it's draining me, and part of that was like the relationship and the nature of like how I was showing up in that relationship at the time. But part of it is just like there's an extreme lack of clarity when you're contending with psychological vices, things that feel like, oh my God, I have this shame or I have this unresolved issue, right? So a lot of the old habit stuff is me trying to figure out like,
mm,
how do I
mm.
trick and work my way out of these patterns versus the real answer, which is just confront them head on and feel the emotions and, go to therapy,
Yeah. Yeah. This
practice.
this is interesting because my version is like after you've
Yours
done
looks so
that.
much purer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
My
like, oh
I
man, that would
I
have been
actually think
easier.
that's a pretty low level thing about a lot of what I do and think about. It's like let's say you've solved everything and everyone in the system is interacting and
Mm,
is doing on their best possible behavior
right.
even after all
Even
that.
still, there's more
Yeah,
to do.
exactly. So and it's
Yeah.
like think because if you can solve it with like in this example, it's like all paths in front of you are actually will lead you to
Mm,
something good. It's just, but how do you have to still pick, and
yeah.
how do you?
Well,
Because if it,
that takes me. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, because if you can see which paths are bad, just don't take
Don't do
them.
it.
uh,
Thank you. It's wisdom that's actually sorely needed, and it's
yeah,
just like we get so wrapped up in like, well, what's bad, and like, is it really leading to that? And
yeah, yeah.
like, yeah, come on, like if you have the
Just
inclination,
stop.
just don't fucking do it.
Just do the better choice.
Just
It's
stop.
easy.
Just stop.
Um,
Yeah.
but wait, I don't know if it's taking you in a different direction, but I
No,
wanted to kind
no,
of
I
on
think
this. On this,
that's totally in line.
I was gonna say I've been thinking about.
Ah, yes.
Okay, so actually, this goes pretty well with. Again, I have no idea. Neither of us know what Flieber theory is, but
I love it already.
but I think it goes pretty
Lieber
well.
theory capture is real.
it goes pretty well with what is going on here. Sorry, it's freezing. A second.
Mm.
Okay, this idea of like, well, what if you're part of a this bigger thing,
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which
What if there is a body? Said one bacterium to another.
right, no, you're right, okay, and so then okay, so let's just kind of think about what does that world look like. Um, I there's a thought of recurring thought I have where like I'm a compute node. Okay, so what the fuck am I computing? Like what's
Mm.
my what is
Love.
well, okay, so actually yes, so every time I figure out a way to use everything that's in front of me to produce more love, to produce more joy, to I
Right.
think it really is like I wish we had like little sock puppets here or something, but like again, think of like a Tetris sort of
It, one of
uh
the things I think about a lot, which I'm not sure if this factors into your thoughts on this, is life fundamentally is complicated. Like we take for granted how hard it was to learn to walk. We take for granted like so many aspects of keeping ourselves alive, eating, sleeping, like working and coordinating. And all this stuff we're talking about, joy and love, like exists in the gaps and on top of that. And it's like you can't have love if you're starving to death. It's like you could feel it, but your capacity is completely
yep,
limited. Or if you're
yep,
not
yep,
sleeping, or if
yep,
you're walking and
yep,
like falling over every 5 minutes.
yep.
And so I just think about like life is hard, and so getting to a place where it's like, oh, we can focus on what we want and achieve more love. Why are we so confused? It's like, well, we're learning how to exist, and you spend a lot of time starting from the very first moment. You you come out into the world to like figure that out. And so like yeah, what we're doing here is like it seems like it's like really ontological and like highfalutin, but we're just expanding that into a larger space of coordination. And all we're really looking for is like stabler and stabler islands of feeling good together. It's just like when I
Yeah,
eat,
actually,
with friends, I feel good. It's like that's great. And there's war in the world.
I like the looking for stabler and stabler islands. I feel like that says a lot. Let's see. Stabler and stabler islands. Because there's also this like thing about like you find the particular
Mm.
configuration and you're sort of trying to hold on to it, but
Yeah.
there's and then but then there's like okay, hold on, there's like a new piece that I don't know looks like this or whatever. And that doesn't fit now and like its existence is sort of like
Yes.
uh,
Totally.
what's the word like abrasive almost and but so
It,
what are your
it
options?
presents
Yeah,
a problem or an opportunity for greater integration.
right, so you're actually yeah at this point you're like either fighting or ignoring it or and then you feel like feeling bad about it but then you're like okay well what
Right.
if we untether and then like
Yeah.
your problem is like okay these
Yeah.
these two
I,
can
I
work together
love
yeah.
shape rotating, so I would just come in here, flip this around, right? Put this guy in here,
Mm.
and leave space, for something new. So it's
Yeah,
just
there you
like
go.
there's a lot of strategies for how to do all these things, but I think what you said just makes so much sense. It's just like, oh, now this presents a crisis or an opportunity
Yep.
to kind of reconfigure.
Yep.
And
Yep.
a lot of us get really attached to our stable configurations,
Yep.
like really attached, which
Yep.
is great, but the nature of life has changed. And so you're always going to
Yeah.
have these pieces coming in.
Well, because I mean,
And if it's
then
not if it's not one, it's another, right?
people get really, they're like, why do you have this piece? Just delete this piece and it'll fit.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I didn't think about that. Let's just
And then
delete
you're
this
like,
person or this part of myself out of existence. Yeah.
and then the other
Cool.
guy's like, well, you delete this piece. And
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
and actually, just to be clear, I think this is I posted this. Do you know Jordan Hall?
Maybe.
Not this guy. Uh,
But here's an aspect that's like really simple and interesting. It's like I'll show you after you find Jordan Hall.
it's fine. I mean, I'm basically on the art of
So
culture war.
so this
Yeah.
configuration right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is not great. It's like, oh, there's this huge gap.
Yep.
These
Yep.
people don't understand each other. But then this guy comes along and it's like, oh,
Mm,
wait, no, these things fit in. And
yeah.
this guy have a relationship and they stabilize each other in the orbit of these other
And actually,
things. And it's,
this is a pivotal point because in the middle here, before this piece, you're
I love
thinking
we're
like
just like moving shapes around.
this is actually
It's like,
great.
this is so deep, dude.
Yeah, it really is
playing,
because I'm
playing
about to
free range Tetris.
I'm about to bring up like holy war,
Yeah,
but we'll get
yeah.
there.
We'll get. Oh man, I can't wait until we have the skills and the balls to deal with some of those issues.
I mean, you mentioned you sort of made an offhand comment about like Israel Palestine, and I'm
I
like,
can't stop thinking about it because it's just like it is an intractable problem. But I think I'm
I
leaning
mean,
towards the real solution happens outside and not in the middle of them.
I just think I mean, I want to make a side note here just to say, um,
Sure.
it's it's kind of dumb watching people talk about it because it's
Mm.
really obvious when somebody's missing like a huge chunk of the perspective. So they're very smart and they're thinking really hard, but they're inside a box
Oh
and they
yeah.
can't see it. And like an idiot on the other side can see what they're missing. And it's just that
Yeah.
these networks are so far apart and
There's an
um,
insularity to them too. Like this topic tends to make people and topics of high degree of contention and conflict tends to increase the insularity coefficient. So it's like these guys like pull together even tighter
oh yeah, 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 yeah,
and they're like, we're not fucking moving at all. Either, get
yeah,
with our side or get wrecked. And it's
yeah,
like this guy's like, well, I could, and it's like, nope, you figure out where you're gonna sit, buddy. And
yep.
it's like he's like, all right, I guess I'll be with you for now. And then this guy comes along. He's like, you know what? Maybe I am with the other side, right? So it's just like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
causes these interactions to be so much more brittle,
yep,
and
yep,
and like you said, blind spots are just calcifying.
yep. Um, I think I got excited when you first drew the purple one because there's a thing
Yeah,
where
yeah,
like
yeah.
you look at this system and you're like, there's no
That
way to
doesn't.
resolve
Yeah.
this. And
It
again,
doesn't work.
and then you have to, you're like, okay, and I think because in the past I think this actually worked where like somebody
Oh, we'll cut this guy off.
you
Yeah.
really have, yeah, like you sort of like it's almost like a
Right.
sacrifice, and then
We do
it
that
does
to
work.
ourselves. Yeah.
Right, right. And but you sort of do it because like, you know, it goes back to like you want to survive. Your options are like
Right.
dying.
Excommunication
Yeah.
or
Yeah. So,
existential castration.
but there's a sort of beautiful thing about like having more pieces
Right.
um actually makes the puzzle easier to solve.
The thing that we contend with, and
So
this
sorry,
brings it a little bit. Go ahead.
this is this is just a
Yeah.
subtle point, but I think it's really big
Yeah.
because you're like, guys, we're already struggling with this guy. You're gonna bring me another
Yeah.
guy. I can't even feed
Right.
this guy.
Right.
I'm gonna give me another guy that's crazy. It's gonna make it twice as hard, but actually it makes it easier.
Right.
It's a non-linear effect. Like you think like five
Right.
people difficulty, 10 people is twice as hard, but actually it cancels out.
It's half as hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to say one of the emergent factors of this is like, you started off playing this game over here,
Yep.
right? And they were overlapping. And I pulled him out over here. And it's like, if we were to continue to do this, we would actually want to find more space. Right. And so there's a sense of like, oh, we don't have infinite room to play the games that we're playing. Right. It's easy in TL draw because we literally do have
Yeah.
infinite room.
Yeah.
We can
Keep
spread
going.
out until the computers and servers crash. But when you're thinking about life, it's sort of a multidimensional, multivariate thing. It's like there isn't infinite land, there isn't infinite room to have discussions, and so you actually have to fold into other dimensions
Hmm.
two, extend the range of play. And so like being able to accommodate more space here and bring in this new guy means, we're not just literally moving to a new nation.
Mm-hmm.
We're not all up and going to, the new world. It means we're creating new norms of interaction.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Yeah.
creating mechanisms of talking to each other and working things out, and renegotiating all the existing relationships very subtly. Like, how do we get food? Like, is this a good source of food? Is it sustainable? And so every inclusion or every expansion of the game is a almost like a dimensionality increase in a
Yes.
way.
Yep. 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 This
And
is a
yeah,
pretty.
that sums it up great.
I think this is a pretty big, and this is a big point in like. Do you know if Sam Senchel?
Who? Sam
Sam,
Senchel.
he's one of the people in ORI now. Um,
Hmm.
he he's very exciting to me because he's writing about things at just the right intersection of physics and rational academics, etc. But theology and like Jewish mysticism. Um, and it's a thing I've been trying to do for a long time, and I think he's doing it well, and I'm excited to
Hmm.
broadcast his work more. But he's basically saying, okay, the solution to alignment, like you can tell if you're on the right track or not because um, you're able to, not increase the range of stuff happening because stuff happening isn't necessarily good or isn't necessarily better.
It's just data. It's just noise.
Yeah, like I don't know, there could be a lot more. I don't know, war. I don't know. There could just be a lot more
Yeah,
stuff happening, and that's not necessarily good or bad. But the stuff, the thing that is
absolutely.
always, I think that he says and this gives us like a good rule of thumb or more clarity. The thing that is
Yeah.
always good is more possibility of things happening, and
Right.
that's a big difference.
Yeah. What's the term for that? It's like it's not. It's related to entropy. It's like the number of states that a system can hold.
Be right. I think he would. I don't know. I don't know how.
Like you're
Maybe.
increasing the
Yeah.
size of the graph in
Yes.
the
Yeah. But
in
yeah.
the
Exactly.
in the
Yeah.
graph game.
And this is very, do you know the Ruliad? I mean, actually, okay, hold on. This is very, it's very related to the hyperspace, the video that
Right.
where is it? This one. Um,
I like the idea that we could step through that, yeah, and talk about individual. Oh,
and
there's the freaking the shapes. I just
yeah.
realized
Oh, hey,
we
yeah.
were doing the shape the shape
Yeah.
thing too.
But
Imagine
if,
if he had rotations. That would be another degree of freedom that just expands the graph combinatorially.
yeah, I mean, this is kind of life. But the game is like, the question is like, what graph would you rather be in? And
Mm.
the answer, if you
This is a
don't,
great
yeah.
question. I want to know what your answer is, because I think the answer for me is actually really complicated.
Well, one way to think about it, like if you don't know much about the graphs, like
Yeah.
most of the time you want to be in one that just has more options. So
So what is an option to you? Like a
so
connection or
well,
a
it's literally,
point?
yeah, yeah. So you're the red dot. Any particular
Okay.
state is in point.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So the more dots or the more states, the better, generally speaking.
right, and so each one of these I think this has three. This has three. I guess all of these have
Right.
three
Right.
options from where you can go. If you had you probably don't want to be on the edge here is kind of a
Yeah.
tenuous position because
You
you
have
could
to backtrack. Yeah.
yeah you're sort of forced. It's like being in a they talk about this a lot in foundation psychohistory
Mm.
like like this idea of like oh well anything can happen but sometimes you're going through a mountain pass and so it's much easier to predict because your choices are you're sort of forced. You can either
Right.
go through it or not
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
through it.
Kind of forced through a channel.
Yeah. Uh,
Do you have
Well,
more to say on the sort
no,
of
I
axioms of choice?
I think it's just this.
That one's in the
I think the
second.
history of humanity is sort of like the graph, the space,
Yeah.
this thing growing, the size of this thing growing,
Yeah. Oh
the
yeah.
complexity of this thing growing.
Totally. Totally.
Oh,
So
all
what I
R's
would
3D,
say,
yeah.
yeah, what I would say is I tend to agree with you that increasing. Well, first of all, I wanted to go back. One of the things I learned in Heidi's workshop, she kind of mentioned a couple times, is like increasing the amount or the way that we sort of feel or have choice. I think she said being at choice. So it's just like moving through the world, you have a lot of automatic reactions, but if you can sort of bring those into conscious awareness and feel like, oh, you know what, I can actually choose from a wide degree. Like it's not just dots. Like each dot has a bunch of like affordances within it.
Yep,
You know, it's
yep,
like, oh, somebody said thing A. I don't have to just say thing B or C. There's actually like 27 other options.
hmm
So that speaks to me. I think having more options and having more freedom of movement is generally speaking good. And I think the higher order aspects of the game beyond that warrant attention, which is what is the shape of the graph? What is the orientation? What is the symmetricality? And I don't have answers for what that means, but I can say that like actually having little secret nodes that you can only get to through one or two paths that have kind of expand into their own little world, I think that's great. Having routes that sort of are competing versus just having one massive network where every node is connected to every other node. Like
hmm
I think that's actually a pathological case, right?
yep,
If you had a network where every node was connected to every other node and you could
yep,
just instantly,
yep,
it would be cool for like a couple of hops. And then it would be utter hell because it's like, oh, well, we're not really wanting to do anything because why bother, right?
yep, yep,
So yeah, I think there's almost a taste that comes with, what preference do you have for what kind of world you're actually living in? And I think a lot of the way that we view the world is actually like we're constructing what that graph actually looks like. Like the world is whatever it is, which to me, there's probably a lot more connectivity than we realize. It's
yep.
probably a lot closer to that graph of node to node to node where everything's connected to everything else. Probably not fully. But we tend to superimpose limitations and structures that make sense, like what you're showing on the screen now. And that says more about us and our preferences for what kind of world we want to live in than it does about the actual world that we live in. Curious what you think about that.
I got excited by this line,
It looks
and
like a pelvis.
kind of does, doesn't it? And then, well, I got excited by
Mm.
um. There's the I don't know. There's just something weird. And sorry, please
Oh
help
yeah,
me
no,
get
this is
back to
beautiful.
the thing if because I do care about where you're landing here.
We'll
But
come back to that. What were you looking at?
well, I can't stop thinking about how this it's weird that
Mm.
it all seems to be converging,
Mm. Mm.
and I've been worrying for a long time about like, oh shit, all the stuff we're discovering is like crazy. How do we spread the good word? How to explain this to people? But you don't need to, because everyone's sort of independently,
Yeah,
and they're also making,
independent researchers,
yeah, and you're also
essentially.
like, but they're also like making the diagrams that like you're like again, this would have taken each one of these things. Okay, this is the fun. This is why we need people like us. Okay, this is a little self-serving, but
Yeah.
but look,
Serve it up, baby.
everyone. There's a lot of cells in the human organism
Yes.
that
And the cells of the brain think they are the most important of all, and they will tell you that
and actually, I just think okay, every cell. Look, every cell must believe
in
like
itself.
if you have to that it is the because otherwise okay do you know what this statement is made from the POV of the cell. If it
Yeah.
doesn't think it's doing the most important thing it could be doing, then it shouldn't do the thing.
Oh, there's a huge difference between I'm the most important in an objective sense and
Yeah,
what I'm
I
doing is the
know,
most important thing I can do
I know, and
for yeah.
people struggle people but here's the thing, people struggle not to let okay look if someone else is
Mm.
saying X is more important than Y, you have no idea if that applies to you or not. Like, you don't know if
Yeah.
he's saying that because it's good for him.
It applies to him. It's always about him.
Well, but hold on. Um, okay, look.
Context is king, but
Yeah, but it's honestly the context question is existential. You know,
yeah.
does that apply to me? Is literally the existential question of humanity because you're sitting there and the farmer next door is taking his animals back into the barn,
Hmm.
and you're like, that's crazy. They feel like they should spend more time grazing. I don't know. I'm not making good farm
Yeah.
metaphor because I don't know farms, but the idea is like he's
No, no,
taking precautions,
I
and
just
you,
realized
yeah,
the question is, does that apply to me? And the answer is you can choose if and how it applies to you, and the remainder will be applied to you. So there's this old riddle of like you've got two brothers fighting over a chocolate bar. And the way to solve that is to say, okay, I'm going to let brother A cut the bar, and I'm going to let
mm-hmm,
brother B choose the pieces. And so when some random thing enters your world and you're asking yourself, do I need to worry about this?
yeah,
You can make it something that you worry about by choosing to incorporate it into your map.
yep,
Or you can totally blow it off and say, no, it doesn't. And then if there are consequences, they will find you
yep,
eventually. And you might
yep,
not know that it was from that thing.
yep,
And if you do choose to incorporate it into your map, like either you made it into a bigger thing than it was, which means you're safe, but you also wasted resources,
yep,
you wasted map, or you made it into a smaller thing than it was, which means you saved yourself a little bit, you bought some insurance,
yep,
and remainder consequences will find you,
yep, yep,
and you may not know
yep,
why or how they came to be.
yep.
That's the part that fucking kills me. Is like things happen all the time, and the chain of causality is so complex
Yep.
that it's like I don't fucking know why anything's happening anymore.
We haven't even talked about time. Time is
Oh no.
we should
Time is a great construct. It's super helpful.
but also I don't know.
I like distance as well. Distance is really nice.
There is a new I feel like there's a lot of ground we're covering here, and like one sub theme is just like what the fuck's going on in science? What do we actually know? Because
We don't know shit.
there's stuff happening with time that is
We have a few million correlations to our name, and that's it.
um the things that are changing though are our predictive power, like our models.
It's yes.
I think Thomas Kuhn at one point was like, I don't think science is.
We really know how to navigate our little tiny subsection of the graph, and it feels great.
Yes, and okay, so yeah, and there's like a Thomas Kuhn at some point was like, I don't think science is tending towards truth. He's like, I just think it keeps changing and it's gonna keep changing forever. And he did
Could
that,
be.
and then he did a mic drop, and everyone lost
Could
their
be.
mind, and they were like, if science isn't going towards truth, then what are we doing here? Like, it can't be right. Um, but
We're trying to figure that out so we can actually start to get at truth.
well,
It
but
takes some people.
they were like, screw that guy. I'm just gonna keep doing
Yeah, yeah.
science. Um, but I do think there is I don't think he was quite right in saying because he sort of made it
Sure,
sound like it just goes arbitrarily in some direction and there's no
sure,
way to
sure.
sort of gauge where it's going.
There's some
Um,
way to gauge some of where it's going. That's my the only sort of abstract truth that I can say, with high degree of certainty is something is happening.
yeah.
It's like something exists. There's something going on here, and it's like even that feels like a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically thinking about like the shape of this graph, um,
Right.
and I don't know. You know, the scary part is like yeah, I think at some point they talk about like different islands in here that are not super easily
Yeah.
connected, and yeah, I think they.
Well, there were some you pulled up. They just have those floaters, the discontinuities,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and it's like, how is somebody born into that? Like, how do you get there?
And here's the
It's
actually
like, well,
okay.
that's a
Here,
possible universe.
I think there's something beautiful here, and I think that I don't know. I think humanity is doing this. You can expand your own graph. I think you can expand this
Mm.
graph, and I do think you actually at some
Oh,
point touch.
totally. You
Um,
reach out and touch somebody
but then that's
graphically.
also kind of scary because that's like what again? What happens when you do that? Are these?
They touch you back.
Yeah, yeah.
You gaze into the abyss, and the abyss is like, dude, you're empty too. The
This
the
is
thing
great.
that
Yeah.
stuck out about that, like he made the mirror image, right? And it's like that's chirality. It's
Mm-hmm.
like everything you think you know is true, and yet it's inverted. You're in this
Mm-hmm.
sort of mirror realm.
Yeah.
I
Mirror
think
realms
like
are scary.
it's weird. I'm still trying to figure out like what is the significance of chirality in my life. Like, what does that actually imply for everything? It's going back to the water maze. It's like I've got a couple of drops from that.
Mm.
Hasn't really saturated much. Yeah, it's just like it's just kind of running through the main pipe, not really doing anything.
Sorry. I wanna.
I
Do you
I
wanna?
also like
Yeah.
I want to draw at the bottom of this like just a oops just a little spout, and it's like whatever comes out of here has the flavor of whatever's inside.
Hmm.
It's like we're taking stuff in, but we're also sharing it with the world.
Um. I want to move into the wrap up phase.
Yeah.
What what I think the one big wrap up thing in my head is I'm thinking about the I like thinking about genres.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about what the genre is like the genres of what we talk about
Yeah.
and what I like to talk about. And I think one of them is just kind of like one of them that I really like and is special to me is this like process. Like I like
Mm-hmm. Shared goals versus shared process over here.
I think so. I think it's just kind of like getting a peek, like at um, like you see
Ah,
me navigating my Twitter, and also, but also like seeing, like I appreciated a lot this piece. Like what's the like your thoughts about pads and which thread got your attention? What you like? Just thinking, hearing you think through that.
yeah.
Um, and this
There's
this yeah.
there's a ton more to talk on that one. We'll have to come back.
But you see how like there's a stream and even just like getting a glimpse um
Oh yeah.
of because it's the same thing here like for me like I have like I made this star note about time um
Yeah.
because that's there's that this could also be a whole hour long lecture but but the point is you I
Hmm.
don't know, hold on, I think I'm trying to say a specific thing which is
Yeah.
maybe I should draw do you see where my cursor is
Yeah.
up here?
Hmm.
Okay, so it's like each one of us has a Oh, okay. Tell me this makes sense. So, like this is like an eye vision cone thing, and I'm yellow, let's say, and you're blue.
Mm,
And
okay.
there's pieces where we're looking at the same thing, and that's nice.
Hmm.
I think we spent a lot of time talking about that. And
Hmm.
and the part that I'm also really curious about is like there's stuff in your attention cone that I
Outside of the, yeah.
yes, and vice versa. And in theory, these are like the harder things to talk about, just because like well, they're outside of. If they were that interesting, would I have already? But sometimes it's like it's outside of my cone, but I don't know. Okay, think things outside of your cone are either not interesting or they're really
Mm.
interesting, and once you know about them, they'll slide in.
The
Um,
the thing that occurs to me is that, like, yes, there's plenty of things that are outside of the scope of what we've talked about, but the way that I navigate conversation, like including this one, is by bringing in stuff that is outside of that scope. So a lot of what I talked about is stuff that I don't necessarily feel is in the middle. And so I try to draw analogies, I try to bring stuff in. Does
yeah, and
that
I think when
make
yeah when
sense?
you do that, I need to map it into
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't, I think there may be other strategies to approach those things, and I'd love to explore those, but I think it occurs to me that, like, it naturally bleeds into it whether we want it to or not.
That makes sense. I mean, yeah. I think
Like,
the concrete thing from here is like which we hinted at last time. We didn't do it this time either, but like so again, sort of showing you my like desk, like where I like
mm,
what are all the things that I actually I've just been wanting to like show someone
yeah,
this like
let's see it.
where do I go like and from for me we will do a I want to do a deeper dive into it, but it's like what are the notifications that I'm looking at, and then I jump from here, and then I have this GitHub. Okay, so what does this mean to me? Is this something? Because from the outside you don't know that, but here we're on the inside. You can see. Oh, this is
Yeah.
something I check. Oh, every few months, or this is actually something I check daily, and then versus like okay, then I go here in the
Talking about your workflow at this point.
right, and then like okay, here's the ORI place. What are all these? What's going on here? I don't know. It's like taking on you on a little like
Yeah.
tour of the desks. Yeah, it's actually like yeah, walking into my office and it's like here's the
Come check out my garden.
yeah. Um,
Hmm.
okay, that's what I have. Wrap up. What else? I mean, this or onboarding is still like a thing I want to explain, a project I want to explain sometime. Um, I like the idea of dumping what we're looking at for discussion.
I was muted. I was going to say, do you want to explain what you had in mind for ORA onboarding? Like, kind of thinking out what that looks like and making it better,
Yeah,
or
I can
something
sort of
else?
give you the just the kind of frame.
Sure.
But it's meant to be so it's meant to be this like open source book
Mm-hmm.
that is basically like the minimum set of prereqs.
Well, this is where the Mystic peer review came from.
It's in different repo, but it's a related
Ah,
like the Mystic peer review I'm using as like along with the peer review guideline of like this is a document I want to have so that when people within the ORI network and broader are
right,
giving each other feedback, I'm like here's the template that we follow.
right.
So
Makes sense.
um, the ORI onboarding, and maybe onboarding is the wrong word, but it's meant to be Um, it's meant to be like I'll just show you like well, what's in here. One of them, the one of the very first. This for example, this idea that emotion, the relationship between emotions and rational thought,
Mm.
and
Right.
how, and this is
I
I
have a
think a great. Like,
I have a diagram for that.
actually, you should dump this here because the
Yeah, I'll find it.
one this is a great line from Ronan V who says. Yeah, the mistake of rationalism is treating behaviors as a side effect of reasons rather than reason as emergent scaffolding for behavior, which is this is a very simple idea, but
Hmm.
a lot of people don't understand it, and a lot of people just don't like it. And you could spend, but it's true. I think it's, in if you, I think if you don't believe this, like I almost want to put this in the onboarding because like if you're open to believing what I tell you is true, then you'll just here's the truth, simple truth. And
Okay.
if you're not, then you're like okay, well like rule chapter one of the onboarding is this, and if you don't, it almost like it's like here's a list of things that if you understand, then we speak the same language,
Right,
and
right.
so we
It's the conceptual scaffolding
yeah
of
yeah
ORI membership.
exactly. So that's it. So like the part of like I've been inviting people in ORI who basically already understands almost all of this.
Hmm.
And so the goal here is to just write it all down so that if you, again, if you're an absolute like beginner and you just want to join this thing, you can just learn all these things. Otherwise, if you're new, maybe you already have like 90% of it and there's a few things that you can look at and you can say, then you can debate. You can be like, well, this is not, I don't believe this is true. And then we can,
Mm.
we can debate this. But the idea is like each one is like going to be a single statement of one paragraph or something. And then
One paragraph for the universe is not deterministic. All right, good luck.
well,
You
but here's
got
the
it.
thing. I'm just gonna state it. I'm like, look, if you're a small child and you want to know the answer, here's the answer. It's very simple. And then actually, I don't know if this is
I
this
don't think
this.
it's very simple.
Well, hold on.
I
The
think fundamentally I would agree, yes, on that specific point, but like the devil's in the details.
so that's sort of the point. Like the each chapter here is like a pointer to the
Right.
concept in language that I'm creating here, that we're creating here, that is like um
Yeah.
widely understood. And then below the fold is you can have tons of articles like it links
Oh yeah.
to. So you if you read
Well,
this and you disagree or you do agree, and you can open a pull request to add your take on
yeah.
it.
I almost see it as like a North Star. It's like, here's something that we think is important to talk about. Here's the general direction of our opinion. And then, work it out in the comments below. It's just like,
Yeah, that's basically it. And
this
then
is
yeah,
the this is the constellation of what ORI is concerned about, right? This is our Overton window to the
yep,
stars. And
yep.
then within that, it's like we want you to navigate this and actually map out the details.
Yes, yes, and um, like there's this sense of if you get it and you're happy with it. Like I basically just envision like I have a lot of writing on it that I think that, explains this, but again in my own way to specific people.
Yeah.
So there's no canonical like oh
Right.
wait, no, I was gonna say I remember what I was gonna say. When we were talking about the stream and the evergreen thing,
Hmm.
we can have like endless debates, but then at the very end there's like a
We have to
sentence.
do something. Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine like opening a PR to be like, well, I'm gonna tweak in this word, after this debate.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it because I feel like this is it's something I think would help both the again the front tier and the back tier because everyone's
Absolutely.
and again
Well, I think
yeah
there's so much alpha in just getting people to pay attention to the same things at roughly the same time, or in synchronization with each other, and to you're basically getting people to synchronize their thoughts and opinions. This is the shape
Yeah.
rotation
Yeah.
exercise from earlier, which is
Yeah.
like, hey guys, we're about to play a game
Yeah.
of shape fitting. Here's the playing board. Use this as a negotiating, navigating strategy. And
Yeah.
their
And
attention on it is their participation in the game.
I think that's it. And then as with everything, like if you don't like it, you can change it. And I think once all I need, again, it should be really short. Is it is sort of meant as sort of filter. Like a lot of these things, people already sort of strongly agree with, or they don't.
Yeah.
And then that sort of defines the ORI worldview or paradigm. And then you start talking about it on Twitter, and then on Twitter, someone's like, "Wait, what you're saying is crazy. Why do you believe X, Y, Z?" And I'm like, and I don't need to debate it anymore. I'll just be like, well, here's why, and then here's the all the links about each of these things, and
Yeah.
uh, again, it's almost basically like a language, and then because okay, it's like if someone's it's like if someone is I'm trying to make an analogy like either a religion or like a subculture, because if someone's using language
Mhm.
from that subculture,
Mm.
you you can like the rationalists have this like oh here's where to start reading to catch up on like what we believe.
They're
um
canons.
the canon, yeah. So I honestly this is sort of like, but this is sort of like make trying to okay, here's the we talked about this last time. I was like, I want to make
Yeah.
the MVP canon
Right.
such that ideally the canon shrinks over time, and the reason it shrinks is because um the pieces in it that are true just sort of like become just don't become weird things anymore. Like like everyone then knows, everyone just understands this because all of the religions, all the subcultures, all the languages on Earth. Um,
Mm. Makes sense.
so that's it. But I think to start with, yeah, it could be a short, and then I don't know. There could be a cute version of it that's like kind of a quiz or an app where you sort of like here's each one and like is this true or not true or something, or
Yeah.
like or sort of a quiz like instead of telling you the thing and sort of explain in your own words like is the universe deterministic or not, why or why not.
I guess the thing that I was thinking about, like rationalists and less wrong, is like for the canon stuff, are they expected to agree on those things and sort of accept them as like foundational or true, or is it more akin to this, which is like this is the jumping off point?
Are you asking for them or for ORI? What should it
Well,
be?
I think for ORI, at least my perception of it is that it's open. It's more open, where
Right.
it's like, look, we're not telling you exactly what to think or how to think. We're telling you what to think about with us if you want to engage with us in a shared language in a shared
Right.
realm.
And I mean, actually, I actually think they serve some very similar thing. Like for the rationalist, less wrong thing, you are, it is expected that um, you buy into all of these things, these axioms, or at
Yeah,
least sort of pretend that you are in order to be able to speak the language and contribute meaningfully.
yeah,
And if you disagree, then you can debate that itself.
right.
And I think it's a similar thing here. Like and then the only difference is like I mean maybe there is no difference. It's just like in some ways I see this as like a superset of the like there's a lot of things here that I'm not going to write down because I think the rationalists already have very good writing on it. So it's almost like
Hmm.
I'm looking for the gaps here.
Mm. Well, you might want to have references to the things that you
Right.
tend
So
to
the
agree with, or
yeah. So this is why I want again. You have these chapters and then this thing, and then there's each one. The structure should be yeah. It links to
Hmm.
the other thing.
Yeah, the more I'm looking at this and listening to how you're using it, the more it makes sense. It's like this is a place for people to engage with these ideas, right? In a kind of logged way. And I think that makes perfect sense. And it's like it makes sense that the tools you use should confer some opinion or preference about how you want to engage and work with them and how you want to engage and work with other people who meet you there. And I think the reason, I'm just thinking back to what I was saying at the beginning, the reason that that's so hard for me is like, not only do I not have preferences, but I don't want to get locked into a certain
Mm.
manner because it's like, I, I, I want to engage in multimodal ways. Right. So like this call is like the best way for me to do that, honestly, because it's like, it's so free form and it gives me so much freedom to like take a random walk with you. So it's like, man, this is so much better than writing GitHub issues. But I can
Mm.
see why you want to do that and why it's important to what you're trying to do. And it's just like
Well,
where I'm at or the level I want to engage in is this, not that. At
yeah,
least
but
right now.
I feel like, I mean, I still see it all as an ecosystem where like
Yeah. Oh yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right, like you,
I
it
just
is
don't have the box on right now. I mean, the closest
right,
thing to a
right,
box
right.
right now is just the screen.
Yeah, yeah. It's like as you move about, I think you produce a lot of useful fruit, and then there's people, either you or someone else, wants to take
Yeah.
that and sort of put it
Sure.
in a box and develop it,
Yeah,
and
totally, totally.
and both work together that way.
Yeah, so I'm super happy with that, and I love this. I love what we're doing here, and it's like to me that feels deeply essential. Like this is part of my ideal life is like having conversations like this, and I'm looking for okay, what is the thing that I'm going to continue to cultivate? Like what is the scope and scale of my garden? And I think that's just an exercise for the Joshua. It's like I gotta figure that out.
Yeah, because I think
But
that
this
that's
is this is
it,
deeply helpful.
and that's one of the things that keeps coming back. Like I think everyone needs
Yeah.
a mountain, a garden.
Honestly, I feel like that should be. I didn't see that on the list, but that should be kind of a very early on orienting framework for engaging with ORI. Is like ORI is very much a community exploration, but anything a human does is first and foremost a personal journey.
Yeah.
And if you're framing your journey in a way that we can understand, we can actually help you with, and your engagement with us is going to help you. But if you're framing it in a way that's private or personal or like we don't know, then maybe a lot of what we're doing here is actually going to conflict with that. And I think that's very foundational to group membership.
Like this idea of
Why are you here? What are
aligning.
you trying to get out of your
Yeah.
life? Why are you
Yeah.
trying to get out of us personally for
Yeah.
you, the
Yeah.
individual human being? Like answering that question in a way that is mutually intelligible with the rest of the members of the group is actually so foundational to group membership that I think we overlook it a lot.
Yeah, I think so. It's funny because it's almost part of it is like imagine if you were trying to start an org but you didn't want it to commit to any particular like
That's why I don't have an org.
yeah. It's like by any sort of commitment sort of rules out,
Yeah.
but you want this
Yeah.
thing to grow to be
Yeah.
open to everyone. But again, but I don't know. I mean, we sort of have better patterns for this in general open source. Like either
Sure.
it's a useful, either you contribute to this piece, or it's useful for you, or it's you
Sure.
know related in some way. Um, cool. I'll stop sharing now.
That was fun. How do
Yeah,
you feel? What do you think? I feel like we didn't cover everything, but I enjoyed the hell out of that.
I feel good. I mean, I'm still having a low sleep day.
Oh, you're
Uh,
tired?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't know, I had a lot of highlights and I feel like the anthropod thing in particular because he's on my radar.
Libra theory?
Yeah.
Dude, his thing about like octopus and opus, it blew my freaking mind. It was like, oh my god, I see it so clearly, and it was like, I don't know. I think I imagine that he was thinking that was like kind of an obscure thing. I was just like, dude, like this is 100% real. So that was a fun experience.
Yeah, and then the puzzle, the Tetris puzzle. Uh,
That one's cool. I'm gonna be thinking about that for a while because it's like, how do you do a dimensionality increase? We talk about dimensionality reduction all the time, but I
I
don't
mean, the
think
easy one,
anybody.
yeah, yeah. Well, you have you seen Flatland?
Yeah, yeah,
It'd be fun to be like, how do you fit these two things? And you can't, but actually they're 3D, and then here's the
yeah.
it's a perspective
There's a,
shift
there's a
almost.
lot of puzzles that kind of work in that way, where you sort of
Yeah,
have to break the bonds or the
yeah,
bounds of the puzzle.
yeah.
Cool. Any last thoughts or words?
No, I think I don't think this is helpful. Just like a little bit of anchoring. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter where it goes. I think it's cultivating either way. So
I think so. Like I said, I get a lot out of it, so I appreciate you for joining me and wanting to do it again after last time. So
no, it's great.
yeah.
All right,
All right,
good
man.
call.
Well, I will see you. Take care, and I'll catch you on Twitter.
That's great. Bye.
Bye.